Hello indie game fans! Been a little while since we took a look at some beautiful pixel art indie games, so here are a couple to feast your eyes on. This edition covers quite a number of action-adventure, Zelda or hyper-light drifter style games, so if you're a fan of the genre, be sure to stay tuned. We do also have the remastered version of one of my favourite games, as well as a pretty awesome looking roguelite platformer, so here are yet another 10 more upcoming pixel art indie games for 2019 and beyond. Unsighted is the first of many action-adventure games on this list, and is set in the ruins of the metropolis of Arcadia, which was populated by androids who are now turning into the Unsighted due to running out of anima, the energy that powers said androids. I like the variety of weapons, mixing traditional melee and medieval weapons like battle axes and throwing stars with the futuristic and fantastic ones such as ice grenades and guns, with of course excellent pixel art. The cutscenes shown off in particular look great, so looking forward to this.
What place does such selfless resolve come from? No one should be able to do the things that you do. The ancients doomed this land to its watery fate. But you make your own fate.
Hazelnut Bastille is another Zelda-style game on this list, and the demo released a couple of months ago got an excellent reception. Kickstarted in 2018, this has slightly more than a year to go before its targeted release, and what can I say other than an excellent tribute to the 16-bit SNES era of games. The art is really on point, though the number of projectiles and enemies on screen does seem a little overwhelming. But I do like the variety in tools and weapons, the character portraits, and even the boss designs.
Why has the Dawnthorn, nature's own blade, chosen you? I cannot say there is hope, but that sword is the might of heaven. It knows the way through the ancient vaults, and is equal to any foe. Let it guide you to the place this all began, and steal back our future.
It even has Metroidvania elements of gazing off areas until you obtain an item, so it really makes you think about genre boundaries. Players should expect a 20 to 30 hour experience, so plenty of meat on the bones of this game. Spirit's Abyss is a roguelite platformer from developer Anthony Case of Skelly Celeste and Stramium Immortale fame. Of course, the pixel art is on point, but I do like the parts in the trailer where you are flung into the abyss and must find a way to survive. From the mood and atmosphere of the trailer, you can immediately tell that Chrono Sword is a Souls-like action-adventure game due to the more deliberate combat, almost bonfire-like save points, and the grim-dark atmosphere. The isometric perspective is interesting, reminding me just a little of the original Diablo, and of course, the enemy and combat looks rather brutal as well. Eight years after the original version was released, Jamestown Plus was announced out of nowhere and should be out later this year. I mentioned the original in my top 10 high-bit pixel art games video, and I simply love the steampunk setting of British colonial Mars and the shoot-'em-up action. The Plus version adds more levels, chips, and quality of life improvements, so should be an excellent enhanced edition. ANNO Mutationem is perhaps not strictly pixel art, since there's the use of 3D models as well, and comes to us from a Chinese developer, which I certainly hope is indie enough to qualify for this video, but I'm not 100% sure. A cyberpunk Metroidvania that uses awesome 2D sprites in a 3D world, very similar to Skul. The world and setting look interesting enough, and the 2D action platforming looks pretty flashy and fun as well. I wonder how much of an interconnected world this will have to be classified as a Metroidvania per se, but the boss enemy at the end of the trailer looks absolutely fantastic. Set in the moist, pitch-black darkness of an advanced facility where otherworldly creatures and alien parasites have taken over, play as the green-blue blob in Astray, as you are egged on by a mysterious muttering whispering in your ear. On top of simply stunning pixel art, this has quite the interesting gameplay hook, since you play as the little blob that can not only attack enemies directly, but can also possess and control them as well. It seems to have quite an interesting control scheme, allowing you to redirect the blob mid-jump in an almost, dare I say it, mobile game kind of way, but the platforming and puzzles look pretty neat. Very impressed by the level of detail.
The mind is its own place, and in itself can create a heaven of hell, or a hell of heaven.
Fallen Angel is a religious-themed action-adventure RPG where you play as Lucifer, having to fight through a twisted version of heaven, fighting through God's army, consuming the powers of the archangels, and to finally confront the creator himself.
You desecrate Eden with your foul presence, apostate!
This is inspired by John Milton's epic poem, Paradise Lost, and looks to have some pretty slick action and animations.
That's servitude.
Again, this has a combination of guns with melee weapons and looks mighty impressive, although the religious themes may rub some people the wrong way.
God makes no mistakes.
Resolutiion is a very hyper-light drifter style game, down to the graphics and the very bold and stark colour scheme. Not much more to say, other than a big fan of the style. Skul comes to us from a Korean indie developer, and the demo released a little while back was also very well received. A roguelite platformer where you play as a skeleton with the ability to attach the skulls of his enemies onto himself, gaining their powers in the process. This pixel art, in my opinion, is the best looking of this lot. For more upcoming indie games, check out the previous video or click on the recommended playlist, and I will see you after the jump.